Wallace is anchor of Fox News Sunday. He joins us now. Chris, what are your thoughts?
Well, this was classic Biden. He took longer to stay out of a presidential race than most people take to get into a presidential race. And I quite agree with you, except for the first paragraph where he said he wasn't going to run. The rest of it sounded like an announcement and a rationale for running and how he planned to run and the tone he intended to take. I also think the timing is very interesting. The fact that he would do it today rather than, let's say, Friday, the day after Hillary Clinton testifies before the Benghazi committee. So he can give the sense that he's doing this on his own timetable because of his own decision, not because, let's say, Hillary Clinton did very well and that her strength forced him not to get into the race. I think this was an effort on his part to dictate the terms of this, but it certainly was curious, as you say, the kind of contradiction between the fact that he's not running and that he laid out a very strong rationale, and I thought in a very impressive, eloquent rationale for why he would be an interesting candidate for president.
Yeah, and he laid out some things that seemed to put him kind of different from Hillary Clinton, which is interesting. I mean, does that mean if she's the party's nominee that he would continue to voice those differences? I mean, he said that he would get behind anybody who would end up in that position, but it is interesting to consider. And with regard to this, does this mean that the White House would then now be able to give a full-throated support of Hillary Clinton as she goes to face that Benghazi committee?
Well, they're certainly going to support her speaking before the Benghazi committee as the former Secretary of State. I don't think there's a chance in the world that President Obama is going to endorse her. He's going to let the Democratic primary process play out. But you're exactly right. Biden took a not very veiled shot for the third day in a row at Hillary Clinton when he said, I don't view the Republicans as our enemies. And, you know, we have to reach out, and it's not naive to talk to them. Of course, Hillary Clinton last week in the first Democratic debate famously talked about who her enemies are that she's proudest of, including the NRA, Iranians, and Republicans. Biden has been pushing back on that hard. You know, you have to wonder, and I don't want to be too cynical about this, but you have to wonder, on the one hand saying he's not running, but on the other hand making a very appealing speech about what he believes in. He wasn't perhaps saying, you know what, there's just a possibility there if the whole Clinton thing falls apart, I'm still here and I'm a pretty attractive plan B.
Yeah, you could certainly see that in his comments, because he said, oh, and I would like to be the president who, under my watch, I'm paraphrasing him a bit here, we found a cure for cancer, and he kind of laid out his tax reform code. I mean, it was pretty detailed what he said. Chris Wallace, anchor of Fox News Sunday, we're so glad that you were along to handle this breaking news with us. I know on Sunday you'll be talking about this even more. Thank you, Chris.